Okay, we're nearly at the end. There are two more things to happen. I'm sure you already know. Marco Mendoza is going to be over at the main stage at 5 o'clock. But before that happens, you're in for a massive treat. This is one of the things I've been looking forward to the most. The guy that you're about to see is an incredible bass player, fantastic all-round musician, and he's someone who's really, who I consider is very progressive in terms of being a successful musician these days, between how he creates his own music, sells it online, travels around touring with different bands, does pop gigs, does a podcast, does video lessons, does all of that stuff. So there's so much of the stuff that Janek does beyond just bass playing that you guys should be able to ask him about and get some advice to be on that cutting edge of being a musician at this time. So without further ado, please give your best round of applause to Mr. Janek Gwizdala. Let's hear it.
Thank you. You got that check right, Dave. It's weird, you just talked about the cutting edge of music and I mentioned the word check. Not very progressive at all. So, thanks for coming out. I've got a ton of things I love to say in clinics. My clinics tend to run on a lot. Only because people stick around, so I guess that's a good sign. So we got 45 minutes to kind of condense a lot of this stuff in. I try and alleviate all of the technical questions first, because I know nothing about gear really, and I know what I play and I know why I play it. And before anyone asks me what gauge of strings or what stuff I play a Federa bass, and it has 105, 85, 65, 45, and 32 Diodario Pro Steels. Today I'm playing, well not today, I always play TC. Today I'm playing the Blacksmith head, first time for me, and it's awesome, and a 410 and a 210, and I have a crap load of pedals. I'll try and get through some of this stuff, try and give you an overview of what I do personally for my own music and when I'm touring with my own band and when I'm writing and recording and put, like Dave said, putting out records under my own name. I'll try and give you a little bit of that. I recently did some recording sessions with Jojo Mayer, who plays drums with me regularly on the road, and the new drummer with the Mars Volta. He's also Michelle Ndegecello's bass player, D'Anthony Park. So I brought some of those live sessions with me and did a little bit of programming just so that it wasn't me up here jamming over, you know, C minor and F7 with the little looper.
How do you go about keeping repertoire, i.e. like standards, quite fresh in your mind? So, I mean, aside from learning them properly.
Wow, that's a real tough one because I just don't do that. You know, that's not my job. I don't mean to sound silly or anything, but it's something, you know, and it's one of those annoying things where sometimes I do have to, and I ask myself exactly the same question that you just asked me, and think, crap, I wish I did keep that together more. It's like anything, any kind of repertoire. It doesn't have to be standards. You know, I hold a bunch of tunes in my head, you know, from whatever pop gig I'm doing or my own music, a lot more of my own music recently. So, and that's just about repetition, I think. One of the most important things, specific to your question and specific to standards, would be melody. You know, if you're playing that kind of vocabulary, now I'm putting myself on the spot. Do I remember any tunes? But you know, it's like it's all very well knowing all the things you are. You know, the first A section, the second A section, but when it gets to the bridge, you know, that's a lot down the end of the tune, you know, the bottom of the page, if you were looking at it on a chart. I find a lot of people kind of get, oh yeah, I'm just playing. You know, they kind of fake their way through it. So I think definitely importance of melody. And I think that's true for anything. I know if I'm working with a singer, which I do a lot of and I enjoy a lot, you know, whether it's a out-and-out punk band or whether it's a candy pop thing or whatever, I'll always learn the melody and the words and try and figure out what the song is about, you know what I mean? I just did a year on the road with an English singer called Vivi Brown, and she had a very specific, the whole album that we were touring had a very specific message, you know? I kind of dug into that. It was the first thing I did was I listened to the album 10 times in a row before I even picked up the bass or started to write down a cheat sheet or anything like that. It was really important to figure out what I was going to be doing for the next year and why. So yeah, melody and repetition. One of my best friends and one incredible bass player, English guy called Tony Gray, has had countless problems with that. Not because of, you know, trying to practice 12 hours a day all of a sudden, but yeah, people do have problems, and it's, fortunately I haven't. I had one problem in 2006, the day before going on tour to South America. And for no reason whatsoever. Somebody shook my hand and this pain shot up my arm to my shoulder, and they didn't even shake it hard. I was paralyzed basically from the wrist down a day before a tour with my own band in South America. And we got down there, and the promoter's mum made therapy. Her business was making therapeutic wrist wraps. I mean, it couldn't have been lined up any better for that injury. And I got lucky and it worked. We froze it and we heated it, and I still to this day have no idea what it was, and it's never come back, thankfully. But I came from a classical background of playing classical guitar, and it's just a different kind of regime in that world of practicing lots of scales and lots of fundamentals and lots of basic techniques. So I kind of had that from a younger age. So when I moved to the bass, it was quite a natural progression, and it helped me a lot. And I've always, my classical teacher, who's sadly no longer with us, he always taught me how to practice really well. You know, it was one of the biggest things I got out of all those lessons when I was a kid. And it's something I do today. My posture's probably horrible right now. You know, if my mom was here, she'd go, "You're not standing up straight," or something. But, you know, economy of movement is my whole thing as well. I'm a lazy so-and-so. I don't like to work too much with the left and the right hand or the shoulder or anything, really. I'd be sitting down if this wasn't the only seat in the house without arms on it, and I'm using it for my laptop. And I don't take my fingers off the instrument very far either, and I don't play too hard with the right hand. So it's all about economy of movement and trying to be not do as much work as I have to, basically.